Welcome to the Get Real podcast. I'm Austin, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the Washington Wizards. And I'm just going to come out and say it. They're done. It's over. Put a fork in it. This franchise, this team, this core, it's over. There's no recovering from this. It's done. And I know some of you guys are saying, well, it's only 10 games in. Maybe they can turn it around. You don't get it. This team right now is only 2-8. It's only 10 games in. I don't care if they win the next 5 games. This core, this franchise, this team, this management has shown time and time again that this team, the way it currently is constructed, is not ready to compete. They can't do it. On paper, this team should be a lot better than they are now. You got John Wall, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, Markieff Morris, Dwight Howard off the bench. You have guys like Jeff Green, Austin Rivers. That's not a bad group. Ian Mahinmi, when healthy, is solid too. You have some players there, and just they can't put it together. And then just last night, they get blown out by Dallas. And Dallas isn't, despite what the record suggests, they're not a terrible team. I think they're closer to a 500 team than just a lottery-bound team. They have some talent. They have Luka Doncic, who's the supposedly leading for Rookie of the Year. Harrison Barnes, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, it's not a bad group, and Rick Carlisle is a great coach. But that's certainly not that good of a team, and they get whooped by 20 when you're already on this nasty losing streak. It's just, you get this sense that it's over. And this team, I think, has no other option but to just blow it up. John Wall has not shown that he can make things work with Bradley Beal, and now there's friction with Otto Porter, suggesting that he's taking his own shots, his own points. This team has no chemistry. They're getting beat by bad teams, and they're just scraping by when they do win. I mean, their lone wins is against New York without their best player, so I don't know if you count that one as necessarily a win, but I don't see how a team like this recovers. And then you add Dwight Howard into the mix, the guy who went from L.A., got ran out of L.A., Houston, his last year there, they were a 500 team, got ran out of Houston, went to his hometown Atlanta, got traded the year after to Charlotte, and then Charlotte trades him to Brooklyn to skip the hell out of here. And then Brooklyn doesn't even want him there, even though he's on, I think he had 1 year left in his contract. They just say, dude, we'll just buy you out. And now he's in Washington. So, I mean, you add that, it's just a dumpster fire. And what's the point in keeping this group together? Maybe they do turn it around and they scrap it together and they somehow go off a little win streak and maybe they make the 7th and 8th seed. So what? John Wall's contract kicks in for that Supermax for 4 years next year. What's the point? You're topped out at what you could have done. They had a few playoff runs, but it's time to move on. John Wall's going to be 30. He's 29 now. It's just time. Now you may be asking, okay, we've diagnosed that this needs to happen. Who's going to take that contract? That John Wall contract might be tough to move, but one of your selling points is, hey, he's still an all-star. And one team I think he fits in with that would actually go for him is the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat has already shown that they've been trying to get Jimmy Butler. Hell, they would be willing to trade their leading point scorer and Josh Richardson plus a first-round pick for the remainder of the year of Jimmy Butler, and he's not even guaranteed to stay. The Heat have shown they're desperate for just a star. They want to be relevant. They're not into rebuilding. God bless them. They're not going to rebuild. They want that talent. They're maxed out on cap space. They need to make it happen. So I think they would want to pay a little bit more to have some sort of all-star to make them decent again. I would take a trade of trading John Wall for Goran Dragic right now. At this current year, their salaries actually line up pretty well. And maybe throw in a first-round pick. Hell, just to get Wall off my team, I would take Dragic straight up. But if you can get a first-round pick also included, that's awesome. You just got to make it happen. And that's another thing. The Heat can't really rebuild because they've already traded their 2021 pick. I mean, they're not in the business of rebuilding right now. It's not in their best interest. But they get Goran Dragic gone. I think he has this year and also a player option, which he'll take for $20 million next year. But at least you want to pay John Wall $37 million 1 year, then the following year 40, 45, 40. And there's a player option for $47 million after that. You get him out of there. And then you try to see whoever takes Otto Porter. There might be some guy, some team looking for a wing to compete. That team might be Memphis because I know they want to try to win now. Maybe the Kings, even though they got Bogdanovic, who's not bad. Another wing for that core wouldn't be too terrible. Otto Porter is he's a net positive to the point that someone would probably go for that. It's not the best contract around, but he can make it work. The guy shoots 40% from three. He's kind of a jack of all trades guy. It's not too bad. Bradley Beal is probably your biggest trade accent because he's a great player. He fits in well with most teams. He's perfect for this league. He's a great shooter. Most of the problems of this team seem to be more on John Wall than Bradley Beal. So, and his contract is it's solid. And you don't have to worry about it having a negative value on him. I think most teams would love to have him on their team. So you can decide if you want to keep that, kind of keep your team relevancy, have a good guy for future use for trade bait, wherever you decide to do. And then just let the rest of the pieces go where they may. Keep Kelly Oubre, who's on a rookie contract. Keep whatever low rookie contracts you have. And it's just time to bottom out, gut it out. Go for this draft. I mean, there's really strong wings in this draft. Zion Williamson. I mean, we saw Duke, each of their big three dropped 20-plus points last night. All three of their guys are going to be top 10 picks in their wings. Go for it. And even past that, this is a very wing-heavy draft. So, I mean, you got to trade all your stars. You got to start from scratch. Your fan base deserves more than this, than just constant state of mediocrity. Teammates don't even want to play with each other. It's reported that they don't even close to hanging out with each other after the games are over. You got to do something different than what you're doing now. You can't just keep pushing on and hoping that things will get better, that the players will get together, they'll become friends. We've been hoping for that for 2 or 3, 4 years now, and it's just not going to happen. And now's the time to accept that and just flush it. Just flush it all down the drain. Keep Beal. Maybe he can be your new leader going forward. He's a good guy. And you still have, I think they drafted Troy Brown, and then they also have Kelly Oubre. So you got a few young guys. And then if you trade for Goran, he's a very solid point guard. You can keep yourself quasi-relevant. It's not going to be the end of the world, but you have to do something. You have to do something because your fan base deserves better, and what's the point in paying luxury tax and paying all this money for a team that is a 7th or 8th seed at best? I mean, I can't see ownership standing for that. The next thing would be probably to fire Scott Brooks, but he's a good coach. He's just not right for this team right now. He's just not an enforcer like a Popovich to where he'll say, hey, cut the shit, let's get it together. He's not going to bring that team in. He's better suited somewhere else. You need a complete, clean slate. Fire sale on all your guys. Take back whatever you can. Don't take back any long-term contracts. Maybe down the road, once you clear your cap, you can get a big-time free agent to come over and start over. But, do what Brooklyn did. I mean, now they're even though they're not a contending team, they've cleared out all their cap space pretty much, and now they have almost 2 max cap spots going in next year. And even though you're not a good team, you can pull off, hey, you want to play with you and one of your buddies on 2 max contracts here in our city and be the guys? Brooklyn's going for that. And you hear guys like Jimmy Butler, Kyrie want the team up there, despite not that being a very successful franchise. You can probably pull that off. But this is ugly. I mean, I never seen a team that just dreaded playing together, pointing fingers. Coach can't round them up. I mean, it's time. And Washington fans may not want to hear this because they don't really sign max free agents or big guys, but it's time to move on from John Wall. He's not worth that supermax contract. It's just, you'll feel better. You'll have something to actually look forward to for rebuild. But more importantly, what do you guys think? Do you think they should just buckle down and just hope for the best? And do you have any other pieces you might think that would work out better for them? Trading wise, if they trade Otto Porter and John Wall, who should they go for? Who should they trade for? Realistically, I always enjoy your guys' comments whenever you guys do. Just tell me what you guys think. Thank you for listening to the Get Real podcast.